Now we're going to do the same thing. The only difference is that we're going to subtract now. So these kind of problems are subtractions with unlike fractions. And we know by now that with mixed numbers being the first number appearing in our problem, we may have to borrow. So we have to keep an eye on what kind of problems we have and then decide whether we borrow or no. The first question, 5 and 9 over 14 minus 1 and 1 over 2. 14 is a multiple of 2 because I'm able to multiply 2 times 7 to get the 14 and do the same thing on the top. Rewrite the problem. 5 and 9 over 14 minus 1 and 7 over 14. Now decide. After we've changed our problem to a problem with common denominators, now we decide borrow or no borrow. 9 minus 7, doable. Then it's a no borrow question. So 5 minus 1 is a 4. 14 will stay. 9 minus 7 will give you 2. This is not the simplest form. Divide over 2 and divide over 2. Then 4 and 1 over 7 is the final answer. Okay, now look at the question. 10 and 13 over 20 minus 4 over 5. From looking at this question, we realize we have unlike fractions. Do not attempt to decide if you're going to borrow or no borrow in this step. You have to change the problem to have like fractions first. Because if you look at this problem, 13 minus 4 is doable. And that would make you think that you have a no borrow question, but this is not true. We have to change the problem first and then decide. So we have 20 and 5. So 20 is obviously a multiple of 5. 5 times 4, we have to do the same thing on the top. So the first fraction will stay the same. 10 and 13 over 20 minus 16 over 20. Now we decide, is it a borrow or no borrow question? 13 minus 16, that's not doable. This is a borrow question. Okay, so the same thing that we did previously, we have to borrow 1 from the 10. The 10 will become a 9. That 1 we can rewrite as 20 over 20. And why specifically 20 over 20, not 17 over 17? Because I want to make my life easier. I have 20 in the denominators. So I'll have to add 13 over 20. This is my original fraction, minus 16 over 20. Combine the two fractions, then it will be 9 and 33 over 20 minus 16 over 20. Now I'm able just to perform the subtraction. 9 minus nothing is 9. I have the 20 still in the denominator. 33 minus 16 will give you 17. Nothing common. It's a proper fraction. Then this is the difference. Okay, let's go to a self-check problem. 24 and 7 over 15 minus 2 and 2/3. What is the difference of these two mixed numbers? I have unlike fractions on both. Is one denominator a multiple of the other? Yes or no? And from there, you can go ahead and change the problem, then decide borrow or no borrow. Make sure that you write the problem neatly, just to know that 24 belongs to that fraction and 2 belongs to the 2 over 3. You have a subtraction sign so clear on your paper that you do not add or multiply. It says subtraction. I think, in my opinion, this question is the most challenging kind of questions that you will see in this unit. So if you're able to master this topic, everything else will be easy. Okay, let's do the question together. Again, two unlike fractions. One is a multiple of the other. Yes, 15 is a multiple of 3 times 5 and times 5. Change the second fraction only. So 24 and 7 over 15 is the same, minus 2 and 10 over 15. Now 7 minus 10, not doable. It's a borrow question. It's a borrow question. How can I borrow? Borrow 1 from 24. 24 will go down to a 23. That 1 I have borrowed is going to be 15 over 15 plus the original fraction 7 over 15. And then still I have to subtract minus 2 and 10 over 15. Combine the two fractions for the 23. So 23, and then apply the rules for addition. 15 and 7 is 22 on the top, and 15 will stay, minus 2 and 10 over 15. Now subtract, because 22 minus 10 is doable. So 23 minus 2 will give you 21. 22 minus 10 will give you 12 on the top, and 15 will still stay in the denominator. Not the simplest form of the answer, because 12 and 15, there is a common factor between 12 and 15. 3 divide over 3 and divide over 3. Do not divide 21 over 3 equals to 21, and 4 over 5. That's a proper fraction. Nothing common. This is your final answer. The final answer is B, 21 and 4 over 5. And do the steps one by one. Do not feel like you have to do everything in one line, for example, or you have to do everything in less than a minute. Really, what it matters is that you get the right answer at the end. So do step by step. It's sometimes confusing, I understand. I did have a problem with fractions when I was in middle school as well. I'm not saying that I was a super math hero since I was born. That is not true. We just take some time to practice and do step by step. Organize your thoughts, keep a notebook or a paper, write notes, and you'll get better at it, I'm sure. Okay, let's go to the next question. Really don't have to work out the question. Just tell it's a no borrow or a borrow question. What do you think? 3 and 2 over 5 minus 2 and 3 over 10. Is it a borrow or no borrow? When do we decide? Do we decide looking at the original problem when it has different denominators? Or we have to do a step before we decide? What do you think? Remember that you have to change both fractions to equal fractions with same denominator and then take a decision, borrow or no borrow. I mean, as I said, you can borrow all the time, by the way, but it will make your life harder. So if you can figure out when to borrow and when not to borrow, it will become more easier. Well, 3 and 2 are 5, and then I have 2 and 3 over 10. 10 is a multiple of 5. Change the problem first. So I'm going to do times 2 and times 2. 3 and 4 over 10 minus 2 and 3 over 10. Look at the numerators. 4 minus 3, doable? Yes. So there's no need to borrow. The last topic I wanna cover today is when you add fractions or mixed numbers to whole numbers, or when you do the subtraction on the same kind of questions. 15, a whole number, plus 17 over 26. Addition is a little bit simpler than subtraction. In this kind of problem, number A, just add. 15 plus nothing is 15. 17 over 26 plus nothing. There's no fraction part here, so it's just 17 over 26. Nothing to simplify. This is your sum. That's it. Number B, it's addition. Same way. 3 minus 8 will give you 11. 5 over 7 plus nothing will just give you itself 5 over 7, and this is your answer. Subtraction is the one that you need to do more steps to do. To subtract a fraction or a mixed number from a whole number, you have to change the whole number to a fraction. And we know by now how to do that. So 3 is 2 and 6 over 6. Think about it. 2 plus 1, 6 over 6 is a 1, plus 2 will give you back the 3. So 3 can be represented as 2 and 6 over 6 minus 1 over 6. We have the same denominator automatically because you choose to do 6 over 6, not 7 over 7, for example. So you're going to do the subtraction. 2 minus nothing is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5, and the 6 will stay, nothing to simplify further, and that's it. The same thing, number D, 6 minus a mixed number, change the 6 to a 5, and 4 over 4 minus 1 and 1 over 4. Again, I have common denominators. 5 minus 1 is a 4. 4 minus 1 is doable, then it's a 3, and then the 4 will stay, and this is your final answer. That's it. Self-check question. This is the last question, I promise. Again, 5, a whole number minus a mixed number, 3 and 7 over 12. How can we do that? It's a subtraction, so we have to do more steps than if it were an addition problem. What do you think? How can you do that? Write down the problem, do the same steps, and then decide on your answer. I'm going to change the screen. It will give you the same question. You still have time to think about the problem and enter your answer. Okay, let's do the question together. Simply 5 can be displayed as 4 and 12 over 12 minus 3 and 7 over 12. 12 minus 7, doable. Then it's a simple subtraction problem. 4 minus 3 is a 1. 12 minus 7 will give you a 5, and then over 12, and this is your answer. It's already in simplest form. B is the final answer. That's it. Okay, so today we did go through all kind of questions expected for addition and subtraction, whether with like or unlike fractions, whether with whole numbers or mixed numbers, and so on. So go ahead and rewatch that video if you'd like, this webinar if you'd like, or you can go back to the lesson and then try to match what we've learned today with whatever is said in the lesson. And then if you need, you can then watch the webinar again. Before I leave you today, I just want to make sure that I give you some exam preparation exam preparation tips. You have to read the lesson. You need to practice the practice questions given in the lesson. They are there for a purpose because they prepare you well in the exam. The answer key for those practice questions within your lesson are provided. So when you work a question and you find an answer, compare your answer with the given answer key. If they match, then good. If most of your answers are incorrect, they are not the same as the answer key, that means do not proceed to the exam yet. You still have to reach out for help, reread the unit, watch the webinar, or ask for help somehow, but do not proceed to the exam if you're not confident enough that you will score good on that exam. Also, I want to give you where to go for help. You can call, you know that, 9 to 6 Eastern time. On weekdays, we're closed on the weekends and holidays, but we're always here from 9 to 6 Eastern time. You can schedule an appointment with an instructor or teacher assistant using this link. So the link will allow you to specify the date and the time, and we call you back on that day and time. And we just ask you to leave when you schedule an appointment what kind of topic that you need in that course. So that would be another way to reach out for help. You can text message your brief question. If you have a question on your lesson, you want to type learn in your text message. Also, you can email or chat through your portal. These are two different kinds of portal. They function the same way. We just change things where things show up on the accounts. So both have the same features, chat and email, and also the same thing with the other accounts, chats, or email through your or the help and support tabs or the help center tabs. You can go ahead and follow those steps, and you're able to chat and email. Chats are always available within the operation times from 9 to 6 Eastern time. If you chat with us over the weekend, no one will respond. I want to take the time to thank every one of you. You did participate in this webinar. I'm so glad that you did show up today. Even if you did not, you still have the recording sent to you, so you still have a chance to watch and ask questions. I will ask if you can take a short survey, 3 questions, just to give me a feedback on how I did throughout the webinar, or anything I have to improve or you think I should improve on the upcoming sessions. Next week, we have the last webinar in this series about division and multiplication. If you did not register, make sure that you register for this webinar so you're able to attend or get the recording. Thank you for everyone, and I wish you all the best in the exam.